Mad Dog Productions presents Batcast. Da 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 da. You know, I would be totally fine if it just listening to the soundtrack the entire show, because it's like Shirley Walker's like theme in that movie, Mask of the Phantasm. That's what that's from. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. So I do get flagged. And then, I guess the introduction is going to be weird every week because I always still want to say thank you for checking out the Pinfall Wrap-Up, just because it's still like in my brain. But I guess I'll say, I guess the show's name Batcast. We might be changing it again. We've been kind of funking around with the with the title. And so, yeah. What do we have in store tonight? That weak-ass intro.
It was an intro, so it works. All right, so tonight we're going to do another 3 episodes of Batman the Animated Series where we review them. We're on episodes 4, 5, and 6 of the first season. So we have The Last Laugh. That's episode 4. Episode 5, Pretty Poison. And episode 6, The Underdwellers.
I will say overall that these 3 episodes were much more enjoyable to watch than last week.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yep. For the most part, they were really good. And I would like to use this as you can listen to our podcast by
YouTube Red.
Okay, so YouTube Red is the reason we're going to really push YouTube Red right down your fucking throats. And the reason that is it's the easiest way to listen to us live, and you don't have to be running. You could be running multiple apps on your phone. You want to read the news, like Donald Trump being elected as president, you can listen to Batcast while you do so. If you want to look, jot down about you committing suicide on Facebook, you can do that while listening to our podcast. So YouTube Red is definitely a way to go. I am a prescriber myself.
Prescriber?
I am
or a subscriber.
I am a prescriber.
You're prescribing it to the audience.
Correct.
And you're also subscribed.
I am a prescriber and a subscriber.
Okay.
I'm both. I actually own it. So, yeah, it's the same price as it would cost you for Spotify. You can also use it to listen to music. It's got a way bigger selection than Spotify. You can create your own playlists. YouTube Red. And, Rob, do you have YouTube Red?
I don't. Personally, I do not have YouTube Red.
Do you plan on it?
Sometime down the road. There's some content that I'm interested in. I don't know if you're familiar with Good Mythical Morning at all, but
Nope.
2 guys from that, they have a show that they just started on there and stuff. So I don't know. There's a few things that I'm looking forward to checking out.
Are you tired of listening to ads? Ad free, complete ad free. You can go video to video. It's almost like YouTube back in 2006. That's what it feels like to me. When YouTube was amazing. Not that YouTube sucks. Don't flag me. I don't give a fuck. Flag me. So
YouTube's great.
You can also find us on Podomatic by searching Batcast. Maybe we're still under Pinfall Wrap-Up as well.
Yeah, as of this second, we are under it. It will be switched.
We will be switching, but we're still under Pinfall Wrap-Up. So a couple of weeks later, we'll move on from it. Pinfall Wrap-Up is not dead. We're taking a significant break from wrestling. I actually did not watch Raw or SmackDown. I read a little bit about it, but that was about it. I can't handle the show anymore. It's painful to watch. I find myself fast forwarding the entire show. Like that's what I'm just fast forwarding, and I'm not watching the show. it was a little bit more enjoyable last year just because we used to watch it as a group. So it was fun to watch that way because we make fun of it. But I just can't sit in my chair and watch. I will fall asleep. The Goldberg thing, I fell asleep 3 times. I
don't know if it was that bad, but
I can't fucking stand Goldberg. Like, I fall asleep watching it. SmackDown's a little better, but it's still not good. But with that, that's my wrestling talk of the day.
Okay.
I will periodically go in and out. We compare Batman to wrestling because, what's better than Poison Ivy had wrestling gear on today.
Yeah, she did. That was a full weird bodysuit she had going on.
Where else can they find us?
YouTube, Podomatic. I haven't checked Stitcher in a while. Have you been on Stitcher?
No. It's probably still on there.
Stitcherish. We're Stitcherish. Last I checked, we were a week or 2 behind on there. So.
And the other thing, the Facebook page is still Pinfall Wrap Up. I'm probably going to leave that up and create a new one for Batchat. It's part of the Mad Dog 2001 Productions. We're back to Mad Dog 2001 for the channel name, so you can search that. You can find the channel. Multiple contact. We got all our wrestling podcasts are still on there. I think 61 episodes or whatever. From episode 13 to 61 are all on there. And then I got some other stuff, me playing Rocket League and all that stuff. Fun stuff. Not really. So with that, I guess we should get right into the meat and the grind of this.
The meat and the grind. All right.
This meat. We're going to grind the fuck out of these 3 episodes. We're going to pound them out like that Venus flytrap thing
with tentacles and yep.
Yeah. Let's start with The Last Laugh.
Okay.
The first episode that we watched.
Joker episode.
It was a Joker episode, so our second Joker episode we get. Joker does appear more than any other villain in the show because they paid a shit ton of money for Mark Hamill, so they're going to use him as much as possible. That's number one. So this was it started off kind of weak, but then it got good because it was just pretty much a classic cat and mouse chase. Batman's just going after Joker the entire episode.
Joker was super psychotic.
He was
in this episode.
He was a lot more than he was in Christmas with the Joker. So in this one, he drowns the whole town with laughing gas.
Yes,
and then
they have a garbage truck and a barge going around releasing laughing gas into the air.
And so the whole point of it is to rob people. But I think Joker only did it to get Batman's attention because he felt like fucking with him again. And we saw it.
They didn't show him escape this time.
No, he didn't escape. Oh, you mean like from Arkham? The second?
Correct, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they just assume that he just kind of gets out whenever he wants. The whole arc of the Joker in this series, and they'll explain it later on. They don't even explain it in the animated series. They explain it more in movie form, and then Batman Beyond. They'll explain it in there, where the Joker can pretty much leave Arkham whenever he feels like it. He just goes there because why not? It's like a playground for him. He runs Arkham, and then he just leaves whenever he wants. It's like to him, it's all a game.
Right.
And it makes for an interesting character. Now today, it seemed like Joker just was straight up trying to murder Batman.
Correct. Yes.
What'd you think of it?
It was a good episode. It was better than the first Joker episode that we came across. We got Christmas with the Joker.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. I mean, like you had mentioned before as we were watching it, it started off kind of slow, but other than that, I thought it was very well put together. Good story.
Most of their episodes start off real slow. If you notice, it doesn't go directly into the story. It kind of shows you the animated series.
Poison got going right away. I felt
it kind of slowed. It had an overall story arc to it, and we'll get to that later. But I mean, because I think that one might have been the strongest of the 3. But The Last Laugh, music was awesome. They had this kind of rock theme going through the entire episode, and then we got the classic Joker theme as well. Alfred's voice was to the
it
changed and then it went back to the original.
Back and forth a couple times in there.
So they must have recorded the episode they did the ending first with the voice acting and then did the second part of it or changed some things. So those are a few things that I was thinking about. I don't know. It was a very interesting. I really enjoyed this episode. I like the Batman straight up murdered that robot.
Yeah, there was a robot in there where it was one of the Joker's henchmen, and he ended up going into, I don't know, what would you call it?
Called a compactor.
Yeah, essentially a
metal
compactor, and
compactor?
it took the robot and made him a cube. And Joker got pissed that his robot got killed. So,
Batman also had a line that said he said like, "You want to get dirty, Joker?" Was that the line?
yeah, the very Clint Eastwoody, dirty Harry kind of line he had.
I assume that was on purpose.
Mhm.
That was purposely thrown in there for that to get the adults that are watching with their kids like, "Oh, it's Dirty Harry now." How do you feel about Batman in general, like this character, this portrayal of him? Through the first 4 episodes we've seen of him.
He's dark. He's not, gimmicky and funny or campy or anything like that. The only thing I really don't care for so far is Robin. And thankfully, in the 3 episodes that we're reviewing today, he's not in it. So I have no complaints about the portrayal of Batman, though.
See, when I think about Batman just in general, this is the Batman I think about. Like, he's the first one that pops in my mind. So when I see all the live versions that I've seen, like with Michael Keaton and Christian Bale, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Ben Affleck, the ones from the other animated versions of him that we've seen, this is the one that like keys in as like, I compare all the Batmans to this one, and does it measure up to that one? Because I put him on such a pedestal. The Bruce Timm's Batman, I guess, is the way to say it. Nostalgia critic would say like that it's just Batman he's just Batman. This is the Batman that we all knew from the comics. This is the Batman, and this isn't a version of him. This is who he is, and I don't know if you kind of get that same feel to him, like when you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is a pretty good take of Batman, or do you like, this is Batman?
Well, I don't know if I have like really a preconception in my mind what Batman is, though. So
Okay.
I don't see it like that.
But do you see it? Do you see it like in a way, like if there's a situation, what would Batman do, and you always know what he's going to do? Like, say if they're like for an example, when Joker was falling into that lava pit or whatever the hell he was going, you knew that Batman would do all he could do to make sure that Joker wouldn't die. He wasn't going to cut the rope and let him fall. That's not what Batman would do.
Right.
And you know that. Because his whole arc, especially in the animated series, he has not taken a life yet. And not that Batman's never taken a life before in the series, in this version, he still hasn't done it yet. And his whole arc, the reason why he won't do it is, to him, he said it'd be and Red Hood, which is the same Batman, but voiced by Bruce Greenwood. He said that it would be too damned easy for him to finally kill someone. But he feels like if he crosses that line, there would be he would never be able to come back from it. And to that point, it's not that he's trying to be righteous or anything like that. It's more of he fights it every single time he goes out there and fights these supervillains that are killing people. And for him, it's like he's not going to kill them, because if he does that, then he might become that as well. Like, he feels like he couldn't come back from that he would be sucked into the dark abyss, and he'd just go on a killing spree. Because when you intentionally kill someone,
then you've kind of broken that barrier,
So for him, he does everything he can not to do that. So when you see Batman in a lot of people that didn't like Batman v Superman, where they saw Batman straight up murder people, it really it offended a lot of Batman fans. I work with a Batman fan who might be just as big of a Batman fan as I am, and he couldn't stand. He liked Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, but when they had him straight up murder people, to him that was like, that's not what he does. And then Zack Snyder said, well, he did it in The Dark Knight Returns. Well, he didn't. He had rubber bullets when he was shooting people in the.
So that was his only justification for it?
Of why he didn't like it?
No, of why he
that was Jack's
allowing him to kill.
Right, because he did it in The Dark Knight Returns, which he didn't. He didn't straight up murder anybody in that graphic novel, which is what that Batman is based from. The Batman v Superman Batman is based off of The Dark Knight Returns Batman, which is who the hell wrote that book? He wrote a lot of stuff. Crap. Do I have it? I do. Batman fans that are listening. Frank Miller, who wrote that book. And then they adapted it to an animated film, which got great reviews from Batman fans because they pretty much did everything that was in the graphic novel. They didn't leave anything out, and they added some stuff. So it's a 2-part movie. This is really good. Written for, obviously, adults. And it's most of the animated movies that come out now are for adults because the people that are watching it are the people that watch the animated series. So they're older now. They're my age.
Right,
we don't want to see the camp. We don't want to see the same thing that we saw when we were kids.
I was going to say, although the campy one is the last one that came out, the 60s style Batman. How do you feel about that? What are your feelings on like
the 60s Batman? Yeah. I hate it. I hate it. When I was a kid, I watched it and hated it.
Okay.
Because my first introduction to Batman was the animated series. That's the first time I've ever seen Batman. And when I watched that, I was like, this is amazing. And then I saw the first Batman movie, the 89 film. I saw that after I seen Batman the animated series.
Okay.
So I'm a little backwards. And when I saw that, I was like, I didn't really like it because there were a few things I didn't like. I didn't like that he killed the Joker. I didn't, that's to me something that he wouldn't have done. And that was me as a kid. Now I go back and watch it and I think it's fucking awesome. I didn't really realize, because to me, this was Batman. Like the animated series was Batman. And they made the Joker the one who killed Batman's parents. I knew that when I watched him, like, that's not true. Dad, that's not true. Daddy, that's not true. And he's like, it's just a movie. Calm down. It's like, but that's not what happened. So, I didn't watch it for the longest time for that reason. That to me, that I was just completely turned off by it. Batman Returns came out. Didn't like it at all when I was a kid. And Batman Forever, I freaking hated it. When I was a kid, I think I might have, for like Christmas, I might have been like 8 years old. My grandma gave me the Batman Forever VHS tape. And as a kid, I was like, I don't want this.
I did that same thing with the Mighty Ducks movie.
Right.
I remember that's the only gift I ever turned down.
Me too, with Batman Forever. My grandma was really mad.
And it was from my grandma.
Yeah, and my mom and dad wanted me to apologize. And I said, oh, no, I'll take it, but I don't want it. Like, take it, but I don't want it. But the whole thing was, like, I hated that movie. I hated it. And I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times when I was a kid. I was forced to watch it a lot because my dad really liked it because he likes the campy 60s Batman.
Oh, okay.
I hate that Batman. My mom likes that too. But they grew up during that time.
Right. So, yeah, it's a little bit.
So to them, that was probably their first introduction to Batman. My dad didn't read comics. He was a Marvel guy, so he read a lot of Marvel stuff.
Gotcha.
And my aunt was the DC person. My aunt liked Batman and Superman. Well, she didn't like Superman, but she liked Batman and all the other DC heroes during that time. She didn't like any ones that had superpowers. So she liked Batman, Daredevil, the Punisher, stuff like that. People that didn't have powers, because to her that was more interesting. You could tell better stories when you got heroes without powers. I don't necessarily agree to that. Like, that's not I'll watch anything that's good. Like, the DC Legends for Tomorrow, which I'm watching right now. I think that's actually interesting what they're doing with that. And most of them have powers for the most part. Some don't. Some are kind of like skilled assassins. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid show. Justice League. That was the first time I actually did not hate Superman, was watching Justice League, because he, I don't know. What's your whole opinion on heroes in general or anything like that? Like,
as long as their powers don't make them completely overpowered to the point where it like stops them from telling a good story, I'm fine with anything. If they can tell a good story with the powers that they have, I'm fine with it. Like, if you're just going to have like one that's essentially a John Cena that goes out there
Superman.
and no one can touch him and he's dumb as fuck. Yeah, exactly. Superman, although they do still tell some good stories.
Superman has great balance.
So I guess it doesn't have a whole lot to do with him a lot of the time when they're doing their best storytelling, but still, like, I think Iron Man is an interesting one just because anything where they have like a true obvious weakness. Yes, Superman has kryptonite, but we're not talking about that.
I have my feelings on Iron Man. I'm in such a minority with him. Because I feel
I'm not saying he's my favorite or anything
but
like that. I'm just saying, like,
to me, Iron Man is not interesting. Because my opinion, now, like I said, I'm in such a minority with this. I feel like,
would you say he's a dumb man's Batman?
Yes, he needs the suit to be able to be who he is. Where Batman is Batman. Like, that's who he is. And Bruce Wayne is kind of the alter ego. He can hold his own if he doesn't have the bat suit. Where I always feel like, what's Iron Man's like name?
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. There's an interesting video online that they pinned Marvel versus DC just in general, and they had it with Batman and Iron Man were fighting each other, and they had Batman was like kind of kicking his ass. And like they were in a small little space like this, like we're sitting in right now, and he was just kind of beating him in the corner. And then
sounds so bad.
And Iron Man like was measuring Batman's fight patterns to be able to counter it, just kind of like the newer Marvel movie that came out this past summer. What was that, Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
He measured it and then was able to and was going to create this fight pattern to counter it. And then he did, and then Batman just changed the fighting pattern right when he downloaded it, like he knew it. And that's like the kind of fighter that Batman is. He just does the exact. You're not going to win a hand-to-hand combat with him. It's just not going to happen because the guy has been seriously trained and is very disciplined. We see it in the animated series, like how disciplined he is, like how I don't know. So anyways, back to The Last Laugh. There's a scene where he is falling down a chute and they dump garbage on top of him as well. And somehow he's able to get out of that.
Yeah, he grips onto he's falling down the chute. He grips onto the edge of the chute and the garbage pushes him.
Right.
Past it, yep. Mm-hmm.
Overall, the ending of the episode, how'd you like it? Like, just in general? Because Joker seems like he throws the card at him and then Batman catches it. I thought that was such a cool scene.
And the look of terror on his face.
Joker looked freaked the fuck out. He's like, holy fuck, he is pissed. And because like I said, Joker was straight up trying to murder him, and it seemed like Batman just had enough at one point. Like, he was just pissing him off to a point where he was just, if this was rated TV 14, he would have beat the hell out of him and then put him in a body cast. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought like I said, I really liked the music in it too.
Just what, Joker's theme about it?
Yeah.
I feel like, okay.
Do you like Mark Hamill as the Joker so far?
He's doing a fine job. Mm-hmm.
What about Alfred?
I don't know what's going on with that, so I'm not even going to opinion or cast any judgment on how they're doing it because I feel like it's too.
We didn't see
mixed episode.
I don't think we saw any Commissioner Gordon in this episode either.
Nope.
How do you feel about Commissioner Gordon so far?
he's not really being
We haven't really seen him
utilized very well. So.
Not yet. Okay. So I think it's time to go on the second episode. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about in the last laugh. It was just your classic, like I said, cat and mouse kind of episode. Next one is Pretty Poison. And Rob, I'll let you take the mic on this one because it seemed like this was the better of the three.
You think so?
I really like the episode 6, but I mean, like,
because of the violence and the unnecessary anger.
Right.
Okay.
I like the ending of it.
Yeah, Pretty Poison. Overall, this was a debut of Poison Ivy. So this is the first time that we see her in the series so far.
Wasn't her name Leslie Isley or something?
Yeah, so something along those lines. Like it sounded enough like Ivy or whatever. Right. So
I think her last name was Isley.
Yeah, like imagine that. So it starts off. They're in the Poison, who ends up being Poison Ivy. She's on a date with Harvey Dent. They're waiting for Bruce Wayne to arrive. He's Batman at the moment, kind of indisposed, taking care of some stuff of a prisoner, which he absolutely murders, that tries to escape the prison. So anyway, they kind of
explain how he did that, because that was amazing.
So he was hanging on to so a helicopter landed at the prison. The prisoner jumps on the helicopter. Helicopter takes off. Batman catches the helicopter, hangs on to the back of it, wraps a rope around the helicopter. The other end of the rope goes around a TV tower, and the helicopter just falls out of the air. So it slams against the TV tower. Batman picks him up, takes him out of there, and then just essentially they get into a fight. He beats the shit out of him or whatever, and he leaves them for the cops. Now, meanwhile, the prison that he's escaping from, in the very beginning of the episode, they show they are commissioning a new prison. This is 5 years prior to this prisoner escaping. They're commissioning a new prison on this island right outside of Gotham City.
I didn't catch that at all.
Yep. So it's
give it a name.
It's 5 years, but I don't think they have probably
Stonegate maybe.
I don't know.
Or Blackgate, because in Gotham they got Blackgate and Arkham. Arkham's where the insane people go. Blackgate is just a straight up prison. Right.
So they're showing the commissioning of this prison. Harvey Dent is there. It's funded by the Wayne Foundation or whatever. So Bruce Wayne kind of has his hands in there too. So they get into all of this, and then they show the construction of the prison, and they show this flower that's on the island. Kind of looks like a rose or whatever. And the bulldozer goes right over the rose and knocks the rose out of the way. And then they cut ahead to 5 years later. They show the prison. And that's where they start with the prisoner escaping and all that. So that kind of ties back to Poison Ivy. She kisses Harvey Dent at one point. He kind of faints. Through much investigation, they end up figuring out that she poisoned him with that kiss, and they kind of get into the story from there, where I'll turn it back over. Did you feel
like, as we were watching it, that you weren't watching a cartoon? It felt like
it had a really good story. I mean, it
felt like we were watching.
There were a lot of layers in this one, which for a children's TV show is kind of strange. But.
Well, when the animated series debuted at like the 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour, and they marketed it more to kids later. So we're getting all the grown-up episodes. This was marketed towards a little bit of an older audience than like children. More towards when it started, it was more towards like the maybe.
I was gonna say because they focused on her boobs for a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so just.
Bam. When she left the restaurant, everyone was just staring at her.
Yeah, staring at her ass. Yeah, and one guy was like,
Harvey Dent was. Harvey Dent's like, so.
Yeah, they made out for about a minute while Bruce Wayne just looked completely uncomfortable. Like, he kept on like looking at his watch and doing everything else. Yeah,
I liked it. Harvey Dent's what Harvey Dent said. He was like, so what'd you think of her? And then she's like, Bruce like, well, does she have a sister?
Yeah. Fuck tent.
Does she have a fuck tent?
Like, what?
So So yeah, continue.
So through much investigation as to why Harvey Dent fainted and everything, he figures out it was due to the kiss from Poison Ivy. So Bruce Wayne figures out some information about Poison Ivy, who she is, or who this woman is.
He straight up stole evidence.
Yeah, he stole evidence in the process of this. He steals
As
a vial
Bruce,
of like
as Bruce Wayne.
So he makes it to her lair, and that's when it starts to get interesting. I don't know if you. I think you enjoyed the second half of this a lot more. Well, not that I didn't enjoy it, but
yeah, because he's straight up like I figure like the way we're gonna do these is you're gonna tell the story and I'll chime in.
Okay.
Because you remember it a little bit more detailed than I do. I remember like other things like the maybe wordage and stuff like that, but you seem to know the
story
a lot better than I do. So when he shows up,
so he makes it to her lair. Immediately, he encounters like a Venus flytrap kind of thing. I don't know what it is. It's a Venus flytrap with like tentacles that each have a mouth on them. It's really strange, but it catches him. Poison Ivy, she walks up to him, kind of makes a off comment about, "Ooh, that's a big fly," and
such a goofy boy.
Yeah, such a goofy. We have a call in.
We do.
Oh.
You're on the Batcast.
What?
You're on the Batcast.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're on the Batcast.
Okay.
What do you want to share?
Huh?
What do you want to share?
Were you before that?
Oh my God. You called into the show.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
So what'd you think of we were watching the Poison Ivy episode?
Poison Ivy episode?
Yeah. Batman the Animated Series. You called us.
Hello. No, I just wanted to let you know I wanted to hear your thought about this trade I made just right now.
And what?
With fantasy football.
What'd you make?
I traded Jameis Winston and Jeremy Hill for Derek Carr and the running back for the Redskins.
Jones?
Yes.
So you essentially pretty much traded for Derek Carr. All right. I mean, if you think he's the next Aaron Rodgers, like Chris Collinsworth thinks.
Well, I'm just saying it's an upgrade to Winston.
I guess. Sure. I don't think it's significant. But he's your guy. That's the guy you want.
Yeah. So I just wanted to see if you think if it's an even trade or I got the benefit of the doubt.
You know you're live on our show, right?
Yes, I am. So this into a fantasy football segment, I guess. Or just
Rob, what do you think of fantasy football?
Huh?
I love it. It's the best thing ever.
A lot of sarcasm.
I like football.
Enthusiasm.
Go Colts.
Yeah.
From Indiana. Yeah. Fucking pit of a state.
What the fuck?
All right.
So you got anything to share with us? Was that it?
Damn it! How does he get those lucky ass fucking?
Do you think? I guess I was talking about Batman, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you think that, as in your own opinion, that
Well, I wouldn't want someone else's opinion.
Okay.
My
I
opinion.
think that fine. In my opinion, I think the enemy's Batman Match the Phantasm is probably the best Batman movie out of every single movie, including cinematic movies that they made.
Yes, absolutely.
At the last 18 years. because of I believe that I think it
Last
arguably
15
is the
years.
best.
Just best ever. It doesn't have to be the last 15 years. I think it came out way more than 15 years ago.
Exactly, and then I believe that the music even was better. The soundtrack was even better than any of the Hans Zimmerman versions of. I believe it's Hans Zimmerman from the Nolan series. With
I prefer
And
the George Zimmerman ones myself.
George Zimmerman ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
those are yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you're talking about the Shirley Walker. What do they call
Yes.
that? Shirley.
Orchestra though, with
The
the
score.
orchestra in the background, the symphony.
Yeah. You know that
Yeah,
was that. Hello. So that was them playing. That was them saying all the people that worked on the movies, their names in backwards. The theme that you hear in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the lyrics to the actual song of the first of that movie. The first track.
Oh, so there was a lyrics to the song. Okay.
Yeah, the lyrics are the producers' names, the writers' names, everyone who worked on the movie said backwards. Their names all said backwards.
Well, that's very interesting, and I know that.
That's why you called into the show.
Yes, not about football, about Batman the Animated Series.
Well, yeah. You name me a better animated version of Batman, or just Batman in general. That's what we were talking about.
I mean, I can't. There really isn't a second. It's kind of hard because I love the Red Hood.
Under the Red
I
Hood?
love that movie. Yes, I love that movie.
That movie came out
Did
in 2007, I want to say.
it really?
Yeah. I want to say 2007, 2008.
Yes, I like given the original voices from the animated series were not involved in that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was Bruce Greenwood as Batman and
Patrick Harris as
Neil Patrick.
Nightwing.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris was Nightwing, and I can't remember Joker.
I just watched that movie and I forgot the name too. I just watched it like a couple days ago.
It's the guy who plays
On
Bender
Netflix. Yeah.
in Futurama.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
Same
that's
guy.
right.
I just can't remember his name. Other than that, yeah, that one's really good too.
But now, what is the worst movie that you think of? And by least popular out of including the cinematic, like you say, Batman and Robin, Eagle Farm. Yeah. You know, believe it or not, it actually did not bomb necessarily in the movie box or the box office.
I didn't bomb the movie box. What the hell are you talking about? You talking about it didn't bomb at the box office?
I did correct myself prior to that, so
Okay.
I was very
Well, you talk like Michael Cole. You say a lot of things backwards, and I just try to decipher what you say. But yeah, Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. Yeah, that was the worst movie. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Total, just in general. Rob, what was your worst one out of all the Batman movies / animated? Any altercation of them, including the '60s, if you want to go that route.
I wasn't a big fan of Sub-Zero.
No, that one wasn't really good, but it was okay.
I mean, I think it's not because I'm biased. I'm not a big fan of Mr. Freeze, and I mean, it's just, I'm not. It's not
Oh, I love Mr. Freeze in the animated series. He's one of the best characters.
Yes, but for some reason I just didn't. I'm not a fan of the backstory. I mean, it's
Why?
interesting because given from all the characters from the animated series, even the Mad Hatter had a good cast. There's
So does Mr. Freeze.
it is true.
It's like a romantic, like he does it all to try to cure his dying wife. Like he's one of the he actually has a purpose, unlike maybe some of the other villains in the show. Like his.
Well, do you look at the villains by their? Do you judge them by the level of difficulty that Batman?
My thing is, Mr. Freeze isn't necessarily a villain. He's just he is a little just misguided. His whole reason of existence is caused by his wife dying and him getting fucked over by the industry. We'll cover it. We'll cover that episode when we get to it. I think it's in the second season. But I have to rewatch the episode on how it was, but I remember it being really, really good.
Okay.
So I would disagree with you that I don't think Mr. Freeze is one of the worst villains. He's definitely one of the best ones, especially the animated version of him. If maybe you're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, then yeah, that's bad.
Well, I mean, it's a given, but this is my personal opinion. Everybody has their own. There's so many villains out there, and I just thought that Mr. Freeze it depends on how you judge a villain. I mean, to me, I look at it as like, plus, I like the villain in both sides, where in regards to their backstory and the level of difficulty that Batman, tried to like arrest or try to like a threat to him. Like the Joker is like a really interesting backstory. Plus, he's very difficult to capture. He's a very difficult person. Obviously, he's one of the biggest nemesis. It's the biggest nemesis in the Batman universe. It is the Joker. But there are other villains out there that cause the same difficulties and yet have very similar background stories. Like, I mean, you could say, no, I'm not saying Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's al Ghul is very, I don't know how to describe him. I think he's a maniac, but he's very intelligent at the same time. But I would say he's up there. But again, like I said, Mr. Freeze is a very sad story, but to me, he's a villain that can easily be defeated out of all the animated series.
What was that?
No.
Just kidding.
Long story short,
No, you already made it a long story. You can't make it shorter.
I'm sorry?
You can't make it any longer. That was definitely already a long story.
No, long story short, we have to have the difficulty of Batman's challenges of beating them and have a good, interesting backstory.
Correct.
And I think that Ra's al Ghul is one of them. I think, believe it or not,
I believe it.
Scarecrow.
Yes.
Is a very. I mean, again,
we just did a Scarecrow review last week.
Oh, about Crane?
Yeah, Nothing to Fear episode. Episode 3.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
I'm comparing these two villains right now, and I want to know which one. I know what episode. When I mention this character, I know what episode. I'm going to talk about is the Mad Hatter and Scarecrow. Now, psychologically, which has which villain causes more stress and make things difficult for Batman to overcome?
Scarecrow. He's got that fear toxin. Mad Hatter is mind control, and it doesn't really work on Batman because he knows it's kind of coming. The fear toxin, Crane has many different ways to use it, and that makes him a little bit more dangerous. Plus, he's smarter than the Mad Hatter.
Well, that is true, but he is a doctor.
Who?
He's a psychiatric.
Crane?
Crane.
Yeah, he was a professor.
Now, there are villains out there that have really good, like, say, Harley Quinn.
What about her?
Was a psychiatrist, and she's
Yeah.
a very smart person, but they made her look like a complete joke in an animated series.
Because she is. She's supposed to. She is a sidekick to the Joker. That's all she was.
So
She wasn't
I'm just
supposed to
saying
have a deep backstory.
exactly. So I'm just saying that it goes like,
She was
But I agree with
Joker's
you, though.
fuck tent.
but if you're controlling somebody's mind, that one episode where he took Batman, he basically was playing with his mind. I forget, you know what the name of the episode was? Of the Mad Hatter? When they were talking about, I believe they were talking about a tower. I think it was like a church tower, or maybe it was a clock tower.
Yeah, he created an alternate reality for him, and he was able to break loose from it. It's an episode that we'll end up reviewing a little later, but that's in, I think, the second or third season.
Are you so right now? You're basically still covering the first season.
Yeah, we're only on our second episode. We're reviewing the fourth episode of the first season right now.
Oh, so you haven't talked about Copperpot yet?
No, Penguin hasn't shown up yet.
Okay. So is this a weekly thing, or is it like
Yes, every Wednesday.
every Wednesday? Okay.
Yep.
Because I still have season 1 and 2 of the animated series on DVD right now.
So do I.
I don't.
Yep.
I think you have like, I think there's 4 or 5.
There's only 4 seasons. I have the first 3.
Okay. All right. Well, if I ever go to make a media exchange and I see season 4, you want me to get it for you?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna swing by there tomorrow, anyways.
Okay. Well, we gotta get back to our show because we've been going for 15 minutes now.
That was exactly 15 minutes.
If you got anything, you want to share about the episodes that we're reviewing, feel free to call back in. But I can't talk. I don't want to be talking about other episodes we haven't reviewed yet.
That's fair. All right. Well, sorry if I interrupted you. I didn't know you were doing it, but glad
It's
that we had
fine.
a discussion about the show.
It's fine. Thank you for your call.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. That was loyal fan Marlo Estrada. I called in. Think of that call.
You
broke, Rob. Rob is broken.
I don't have a whole lot of input on that one. I did a lot of work though on the podcast here, so you're still going to want to search for Pinfall Wrap Up on Podomatic in the meantime. But I have everything switched over to Batcast. I was able to get so much stuff done. It's amazing. Like I did like a night's worth of work on the podcast, just fixing our iTunes feed. Like I caught us up, so we are in good shape. This podcast will run smooth now. I made the podcast great again.
So on Pretty Poison, we're in the warehouse.
Yeah, so essentially, Batman's been captured. Poison Ivy attempts to poison Batman by kissing him also, because that's the way she is trying to take these people out. The poison ends up, it's highly toxic or fatal or whatever, and she's using like some oils from this rose that was only on this island where the prison was built. She blames Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent. More so for putting the prison there. So, and making this rose that she's using extinct. She sees the rose as her child, or that species of rose as her child, or her children. So she is looking at it like she's getting revenge for them killing her children. So now she's going to kill them. Well, she kisses Bruce Wayne, or Batman. Batman, he's starting to go dizzy and stuff and all that. So he unintentionally kills the Venus flytrap that's
Straight up
holding him,
murders it.
murders the Venus flytrap, pulls around and blows up her entire lab that he's being held in.
World's greatest detective.
He just stumbles through all of this. And yeah, that is the gist of it. So she captures him and he just destroys her
The
life.
scene I liked is he's in a pit where it looks like he's about to die,
Mhm.
and he's got he stole the plant that Ivy really, really wanted, and wanted to exchange the antidote for the plant. Like he was going to drop the plant into the fiery pit. Granted, he like straight up like extortion to get his way through this.
Yes, extortion. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a winner.
So, yeah, and then obviously saved Poison Ivy from dying, and they changed the plant, and they let her have the plant in Arkham, though. How do you feel about that?
Why? She just attempted to kill 2 people using this plant. That's like if you saw a knife as a child of yours, and they just were like, "All right, we're gonna put you in prison. Here's a knife."
Mhm.
Like that's pretty much what they did there. So I don't get it, but okay, sure, why not?
I thought this was a good episode. This was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Batman. What was in that dart that Poison Ivy shot that Venus flytrap with?
I don't know, but
It
man,
fucking went ape shit. Like it straight up murdered it. Another thing I liked about this is Ivy doesn't have control over the plants, like you see in the other versions of her. So this is believable. Now I think later on she actually gets control of the plants later on in the series, but this episode didn't seem like she actually could control them to do what they wanted. You get trees to outroot themselves and like fight Batman. It's kind of weird. She doesn't have any powers in this episode, so maybe maybe later she gets doused with some bad chemicals. That seems to be everybody's backstory, and we'll get her powers that way. Next episode was the Underdwellers. This is
one you should explain. You love this one.
This was surprisingly awesome. Rob, go ahead and tell the story.
Really, we could boil this down really quick here. We had child abduction.
Yep.
And alligators.
Yep.
Need I say more?
This could have been a movie.
Let's focus on the child abduction. Not only did we have this guy. Okay, so what was the main villain? Sewer King. Yep. Okay, so we had a guy. He's calling himself the Sewer King. He lives with tons of children in the sewer. It's like Michael Jackson of the sewers, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't let the kids speak, and he sends them out to like pickpocket people and like steal their purses and stuff. And that's how he, I guess, makes a living. He just like up to the surface. They, steal whatever, food, money, valuables, bring them back down to him. And he, lives high on the hog and eats turkey, I guess, every night with rolls. I don't know. This is what he lives on. So anyway, Batman's out and about, and he sees a woman get pickpocketed or a purse gets stolen or whatever the deal is. And it's a kid who's taking it. He gets the kid and is wondering what's going on with this. So Batman abducts the abducted child. Because apparently that's okay. If you encounter an abducted child in your life, you too can abduct them, and it's not like
double abduction.
A double abduction is not a crime because the kid's already been abducted.
They should have renamed the episode Double Abduction.
I feel like that could be a Nicolas Cage movie.
Or
I don't know
Abduction Squared.
Nicolas Cage movie.
Abduction to the abduction power.
Nicolas Cage again, starring Steven Seagal. Directed by Nicolas Cage, starring Nicolas Cage. Yes.
Written by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh God. So anyway, he has Alfred then touch this child. He's pretty much what he tells him. He says, touch this child, feed him, and put him in your bed. Was that the line?
Feed him, clothe them, or feed him, wash them, and put him to bed.
Okay, so I was close.
He's like, I'll do that, but not in that order.
Which sounded really dirty. Like he was going to I don't know. But anyway. So long story short, they end up getting this kid to the point where he's able to show Batman where he's from, like his lair or whatever, or the Sewer King's lair.
Oh, and then when Batman runs into those kids and realizes what's going on, you see him get fucking pissed.
Yeah, so Batman makes it down to the lair, and he doesn't know that there's tons of kids down there. This kid hasn't said a word the entire time because the Sewer King wouldn't let these kids talk, so this kid just doesn't speak. So he just led Batman into this lair, and he sees all of these kids. So immediately Batman pulls out his camera, and he's like, evidence. And he takes pictures of these kids in these tattered clothes and these dirty conditions and all that stuff. And then he says, take me to him. So the kid is trying to bring Batman to the Sewer King. And there's a bell, which apparently that's what they ring to get the attention of him or something. And he starts ringing this bell, and he rings it and rings it and rings it.
Time out. So let's say you're watching this as a little kid. You're a little kid now.
I'm probably scared at this point.
Aren't you but do you have that sense of Batman is going to save me kind of thing? So you kind of have that feeling that he's fighting for me now. Probably how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a kid and I'm watching this and I'm like, I don't want to be those kids, but at the same time, I got to meet Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, continue.
All right. So,
Really?
Yeah, he starts ringing this bell over and over and over to get the Sewer King's attention. He rings it, and then he just rips the bell off the ceiling, just out of anger. He just rips it right off the ceiling. So he's already going psychotic at this point. Here comes the Sewer King out of nowhere. He has 2 alligators on leashes. Chains, these things are huge. They're growling and all this shit. Sewer King lets these fuckers go. Immediately, Batman, he fights one of them, hog-ties the shit out of it. He just bends it over and wraps its tail to its face with a rope. The rope that he broke off the bell. Before he did that, I should say, he swings the bell that he ripped off and just knocks one straight out. He just bangs it right in the head with the bell and knocks it out. Ties the other one up. Then the Sewer King, I guess, has 2 more. It looks like he breaks one of their jaws. He just he holds their mouth part and just I don't know if he slammed its head into something or whatever. Long story short, he knocks out all these alligators. Chase ensues. He chases the Sewer King. I can't remember how he ended up apprehending him.
He got him in the train by the train station.
Oh yeah,
because he threw him into the alligators. The alligators did not eat him, and then he left through the thing, and then he locks the door and just kind of nice and smoothly walks away, like he just committed a bunch of child abductions. He's gonna get away with it, kind of walk. And
to Michael Jackson,
right?
Correct.
Batman just blows the fucking door down. Straight up, I thought he was gonna pickpocket the lock or something. No, he just blows the fucking door down.
Yeah, he was mad. He was extremely mad. When he catches him, he threatens to kill him.
Oh yeah.
So he says, usually I leave this up to the courts, but I'm tempted to take care of it myself this time.
This is the first time
this is the first time you actually see him angry to the point where he wants, not only angry, but angry to the point he wants to kill someone.
He was really angry.
Yeah.
He was mad.
This guy, I mean, he's abducting children.
Right. And that to him was already he was probably just I don't know, if put yourself in Batman's shoes, you live that righteous code and you go down the sewer like that and you see that, how do you react?
Right.
You're just if I had a gun right now, I probably would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of mentality you'd be in. So yeah, that was the Underdwellers. This one is kind of a must watch, I think.
Yeah, it was very good. Yep.
No significant villain, no Joker, Penguin, whatever. This was probably a character they probably made up and a story that was completely original. And this could have been a story told without Batman too. Just didn't even need him. You could have had someone else go in there and save the day. Maybe Indiana Jones, or
that was essentially the Temple of Doom.
Or Rocky.
Like, guy has all these children working for him. Indiana Jones goes in and saves them.
Hey Arnold did an episode kind of like this too. Did you ever watch Hey Arnold?
No.
Okay. They did the same exact story arc, so they probably got it from this. Because I felt like I was watching a Hey Arnold episode. But yeah, those were the 3 episodes. I thought if I had to rank them in order, okay, so we got these 6 episodes so far. Let's do our top 6 of the 6 we've watched. Well, we got it number 1 so far. What's your number 1 out of the 6?
I'd probably be leaning towards number 5, Pretty Poison. I like Pretty Poison. It was a good
I'm
story.
going with Underdwellers for my number 1.
Okay.
What's your number 2?
Number 2, I would do Nothing to Fear.
That's my number 2 as well. And 3?
I would do Underdwellers.
I got Pretty Poison.
Okay.
4.
Say The Last Laugh.
On Leather Wings.
Okay.
And
5, I would say Christmas with the Joker, and then 6 on Leather Wings.
my 5 would probably be The Last Laugh, and then 6 would be Christmas with the Joker. So the 2 Joker episodes, I think, were the 2 weakest, in my opinion. I thought that my way of that is if I replace the Joker with another villain or something like that, would the episode be any good? And I don't think it would be. I think that they relied solely on Joker to carry the story arc, and I felt like Christmas with the Joker was ruined by Robin.
Like he was a little bit heavy in that one.
Right, and
I still thought it had a good story though, so
it did.
That's why
it did. But all 6 of these are good. Is the point is like it's kind of tough to make a top 6. I don't think one's significantly better than the other.
Right.
And I think every week we'll write them down, and we'll see if once we get past 10, we'll just do a top 10 every week and see if one creeps in. Where does it creep in? One falls down, stuff like that. Series, and we'll actually have a top 10 each of us of all 50 some episodes they made.
Ooh, it's gonna be a tough one.
Right. Well, that's how I said we'll do it every week, and we'll keep updating it. Just see how it'll be easier to make that way rather than watching 50 top 10 day Bob Gibson. But other than that, right? We got some things going on. Wieners
are going on.
No,
okay.
I'm kidding. I think Dad.
Not really. No, I enjoyed these 3. I did. Reviewing wrestling in general.
Well, I guess we're towards the end. Survivor Series talk. Do you like where Survivor Series going? Who's going to win? Team Raw, Team SmackDown?
I'm watching that shit.
I'm just kidding.
I can't. I just can't. It's so bad right now. Everyone listening, do not watch WWE. There's nothing to see there. It's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
I'll use one of Trump's words. It's badly bad. It's badly. It's very badly right now. It's not goodly. That's not our outro music though.
I know. I was just playing it. It's cool. So, other things. God damn it.
Other things. God damn it. Yes.
Other things with Batman. I guess we're gonna have to do the live action ones too. Eventually.
Yeah, as long as we don't do the George Clooney one, I don't really care.
We're gonna have to.
Fuck that.
I know. I don't want to do it.
You
I don't want to do it.
You fucking watch You tell me how it is. Yeah, well, that's the point.
It's terrible.
Well, we don't have to watch it again to tell everyone it sucks. Here, let's do our review of the George Clooney one. It sucks.
It was fucking
there. See, if you don't have to watch it.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about it. I was just typing in Batman animated series outro, and it's like it like didn't know what I meant. It's like, do you mean Batman the animated series inside a girl? And I'm like,
what?
Yes, kinda. I don't know. Well, that was Batcast. I was your host, Andrew Caracci, alongside
Robert Roth.
And we'll be back. Same bad time, same bad dog, 2001 channel. Oh, God, I can't do it.